Oh, I totally get it. I totally get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And the broadcast is live. I love the way Barb does this to me. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, my Barbara Ellison, and I am one of your hosts of the Time to Shine Happiness Show. And I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception. I just truly believe that every one of us has the right to live happy, healthy, financially free, abundant lives. But you know what? Sometimes we just need the tools and the learning to do it with. And I just think that's what this show is all about. So we talk to guests that do all sorts of things, everything from healthcare to tech. In my case, I'm your personality pro because personality does drive reality. It impacts every area of our life, from the inside of us to the people around us. And so I work with heart centered entrepreneurs to help them to tweak, I call it tweaking, just to tweak their messaging so that they can attract and talk to, and connect with, and convert their ideal audience. So and it's just a fun thing to be able to do, to be able to come onto this show. And I am so excited to have my good friend and Cheryl Ilov on the show. She's a podcast host. And I had the very great privilege of being on her podcast. And we just had such a great time doing her podcast. So, Cheryl, welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. I'm going to let you tell us all about the new things that are happening that you're so excited about. So, welcome. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. I mean, what an incredible day. The sun is shining, the birds are singing. I'm
Yeah.
sitting here with you and Barbara and talking about happiness and all the wonderful things that are happening in my life and your life. And I can't wait to meet Barbara as well. And oh gosh, where to start? As we all know, it's been kind of a rough year. No one would, argue that point. And from some of the challenges that we've had have come like great ideas and ways to pivot and do things a little bit differently. So as you know, I call myself a recovering physical therapist. I was in private practice for 18 years and I did my own thing. I didn't do traditional physical therapy. I specialized in Pilates-based rehabilitation and conditioning, as well as something called Feldenkrais. And exactly 4 years ago, this past May, this last month, I closed my office for various reasons. And I really missed being able to work with people one-on-one and to have a positive impact in their lives, because as you do a lot of happiness through personality and some of the work that you do, I help people be happy through movement and healthy movement. Yeah. And being able
there's
to
a
take care.
difference. There is a
Yes.
difference of
Yeah.
healthy movement. True.
Absolutely. And especially once you get to, let's say, a certain age, um,
Age, yeah,
you
let's
know,
go.
it,
Yeah.
it's, yeah, it's really hard to be able to be in the kind of shape that you want. So a lot of the experts will try and train people of a certain age the same way they train people in their 20s and their 30s. And it just doesn't work that way. Our bodies are a little bit different and we're a lot smarter. We have to learn how to move smarter, not harder. So that's basically how I teach people what to do. And I just got like a mental head smacking moment a few months ago. It's like, wait a minute, everybody's doing everything online. I can reopen my office, my services, and offer them online. So I basically launched something called the Vitality Zone. And, I offer the
Yay!
same work, the same services that I did when I had my office, but now I am doing it online. And, it just launched. I've already had several clients. It has been working so beautifully. And I am so happy because that part of my life was really missing, that ability to be able to give back to people and to help people have the quality of life that they want and enjoy, and deserve.
And that they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. We deserve to have a happy, healthy, financially free, abundant life. And so
Absolutely.
often people get stuck in that, oh, well, it's too late. Never, it is never too late. I just celebrated my 71st birthday. And
Happy
I can
birthday.
thank you. Yeah, last week, Memorial Day. Uh, And I can say that I feel better now than I did 10 years ago
Mm-hmm.
because now I'm taking the steps to work with my body in the way. I don't do aerobics anymore. My body just doesn't do aerobics,
Mm-mm.
but I
Mm-mm.
do movement and stretch. And one of the biggest things that I have done, Cheryl, you love this. I have taken the word exercise out of my vocabulary.
Excellent. Perfect.
I do not
Perfect.
exercise. I do my movement routines.
Well, I'm glad you brought up that dirty little word, exercise, because
Yes.
I like to tell people that I am a physical therapist who hates exercise and thinks that chocolate is food,
Right.
because it is.
Yes. It
And
is.
actually that is the whole essence of health and wellness and mobility, is
Right.
to be able to move.
Right. Right.
And to move well. It's not about beating yourself up at the gym. It's not about doing weights that are too heavy. You can be very
Right.
strong and toned and balanced in doing weights that are what people would think ridiculously light. But if you're doing them well, it makes a huge
Right.
difference.
Right. Right. Exactly. I found her name is Coach Mare, and I found a girl that she works with, and she did exactly what you were just now saying. She said she took her online and she created an online course, and well, I think I was one of her first people. She happened to come across and she was all about why are you beating yourself up trying to do stuff as you age?
Mm-hmm.
And I went, you know what? That's exactly right. I was trying to
Mm-hmm.
do stuff that it was like, yeah, this just isn't me anymore. My body just doesn't do those things anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been such a blessing that I go,
Mm-hmm.
like, I take my dog out, and while she's out on the backyard, I do even just my 5 minutes of the things that she's taught me to do. And it
Mm-hmm.
has made all the difference. When you sit at your computer across the back here,
Oh
and your
yeah.
back is like, and now my back doesn't, because
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing what she's taught me to do, and I do it at least 2 to 3 times a day because it's easy for me to do.
Mm-hmm. I am so glad you brought that up, especially the 5 minutes, because I like to tell people it's almost like putting money in a bank. Like you got a little piggy bank there, and the change
Right.
that, in the bottom of your
Right.
purse, and you keep
Right.
putting it in the piggy bank, and it's like, it's not going to make that much of a difference. And all of a sudden, you've got a full piggy bank. And it's the same
Right.
thing when you're taking money out, is that eventually, you're going to go broke. And that's the same thing with movement. Every little bit, those 5 minutes during the
Right.
day,
Right.
really adds up to an incredible cumulative effect of healthy wellness, movement, fitness, that you just
Right.
feel so darn good, rather
Right.
than beat yourself up for an hour 3 times a week in the gym. I mean, why would anybody do that?
And then sit hunched over like with me. One of the things that I have had to do is absolutely set a timer
Mm-hmm.
when I'm sitting working at my computer, especially if I'm working on a project for one of my clients and I'm working on their messaging and things like that, or writing a blog post or whatever I'm doing. And I set a timer for like 40 minutes. And the timer will go off and I'll say, it hasn't been, and I'm talking to myself, it hasn't been 40 minutes. And then I look at the timer and it's like, well, yeah, the timer's going off. So I guess it has been 40 minutes. Because otherwise I would be sitting there. And even the times when I do forget to set the
Mm-hmm.
timer, since I've been doing my back exercises, and she's given me 2 that I do all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're so easy to do, and I love them. And
Mm-hmm.
now that I've been doing that, even when I do sit for too long, I don't notice it across my back anymore.
Right.
It
Right.
might be start a little bit, but not nearly what it was.
And not only the fact that it doesn't hurt anymore, you're doing
Hmm.
so much for your posture. And,
Right.
people forget that how important posture is and why it's important. It's not just stand up straight or sit up straight. I mean, it's really has a lot to do with your health and your wellness, because when you
Right.
are in that rounded position, you're putting a lot of pressure on your lungs, your heart, that compression of your spine. It's a spiraling effect that just kind of goes down, even your digestion. So when you're in that upright position, your lungs have the ability to expand, your heart can move blood a lot more easily, and it makes you look good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's it. I said, I feel better now than I did 10 years ago, because I'm working the way my body is made to work at this age.
Yeah, we're so, I think, eager to put everybody in, a one size fits all type of category. And that just does not work, because look at us. We're all built differently. We've all had different history. We all have maybe injuries in the past that we've recovered from, but we're all just so different, and we're not machines. We're not robots. We're human beings with feelings and biology and history, and so spirituality. It's all something that needs to be considered.
Right. And one of the things that I like to work on too with people is their mindset, and
absolutely
doing movement and doing the right movement starts up here.
Absolutely.
And don't you think, Cheryl, that almost everything starts right here?
Absolutely.
What's between here? And we always think that one of the things I truly believe is that the devil tries to make us think that we're the only one that has ever thought the thought that we've just thought.
Right.
And one of my things is that if you've thought it, if you have felt it, then someone else in the world has thought it and felt it too.
Exactly. And we have to guard our thoughts like a jealous lover. Guard those thoughts, because what we think about is what we eventually become.
Right.
So
and what we focus on expands.
Exactly. So we really want to focus on the positive. We want to focus on what's going well for us, what's going right in our lives. And again, that's really been a challenge over the past year. But look at, so many wonderful things have come out of it. I got to meet you. I got to have you on my podcast, and now I'm on yours. I mean, it's just a lot of things that have happened out of that, because as human beings, we're also very malleable, flexible, and we can pivot and shift our focus and our attention in a more positive way.
Right. And one of the things, there's an acronym, and it's called, it's SHAPE. And to get in shape, well, the shape is your spiritual gifts, your health, your abilities, your priorities, and your experiences.
I love that.
And I think that's it. And I might have, but you know what? Anything, you can have anything, because that's just what came out of my mouth. So I think that's what I'm supposed to tell people what shape is. And it could be different than everybody else. And that's the biggest thing. It could be different for somebody else, because what are your abilities? What are your priorities? What are your values? And that's one of the things that I work with, because with personality science, and personality science has been around for 2,500 years. But we have to deal with why people do things. And we do things based on our emotions.
Absolutely. Oh, there she is.
And here comes Barbara Beckley. Barbara, this is my friend Cheryl. How are you doing?
Hey, ladies. Hey, Cheryl. Welcome. We love you.
Oh, Barbara, thank you so much. I mean, who doesn't want to hear that first thing in the morning, right?
Yeah. See,
thank you.
And we're the babies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good
so
conversation.
Barbara Beckley,
keep going.
No, have you been listening? Did you listen to the beginning of the show?
I didn't get the total beginning, but I didn't want to interrupt.
Then,
so I was like, let them finish.
Okay, well, then I have to apologize to you.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Well, it's just funny. Okay, remember how we've been talking about this is our anniversary month, and June 23rd, we're going to have do an all thing. Guess when our anniversary is?
Uh-oh.
Today. today. I love Facebook. Facebook came up. I opened up my Facebook this morning. They said, congratulations on your memories from 1 year ago today. And I went, oh, it's our anniversary. Our very
That's
first
okay.
graphic went out today.
That's okay. We can make it our month. It's our anniversary month.
We're having our end, and so that's what I figured. I said you're going to be good, but it was just the funniest thing. I went, oh crap! That's my favorite word. Oh, so yeah. So this is our anniversary month, and and that works. This is our anniversary month. So happy anniversary to us. And so and Cheryl is our guest. So yes. Barbara, tell us who you are first of all.
Well, thank you, ladies. Well, my name is Barbara Beckley, and I am the CEO and founder of the Diamond Factor, LLC, which the mission is to make sure that all women understand what I call their PPD, their purpose, their passion, and their drive in life. It's so important to understand their value. And I come in like a cheerleader, a mentor, whatever you want to call me, and just kind of work things and really pull it out of them, even if they're saying, well, I don't think yes, you are. You're awesome. Well, I don't know that. No, you're amazing. So that's what I do. I'm kind of just making sure that they understand their value. And then once I do that and we work with that, then I want them to shine in the universe. And I help them like being on platforms like our show and the TV streaming show that I have. So yeah, just to make you shine like diamonds. That's what I do.
Ooh, I love that. That is so beautiful.
And so Barb and I have known each other for years.
Really?
And we always talked about doing something together. But that like we were just talking about before, Cheryl, is over this past year, people have come up with new things. And this was one of the things that Barb came up with. She said, gee, let's do, she wanted to do weekly shows every day of something, there was business and all sorts of things. And so she said to me, gee, Barb, would you like to do a happiness show? And I said, I would love to. But I don't want to do it by myself. So will you be a co-host? And she said, why would you want to co-host? I said, Barb, I'm a personality science trainer. One of the things that I know about my personality, and that's what I work with people, know yourself and accept yourself and just let go of the stuff that you're not. I know myself that I would not survive as a solo host every week. I like being part of a team. I like doing things in a group. And she went, really? And I went, yeah. And so now it's been a year. Wow. And I can do it on my own. And now I have branched out. But at the beginning, it was like there was no way that I would do it every week by myself. I wouldn't have lasted.
So Barbara, the other Barbara, actually gave you the opportunity to shine.
Yep, exactly.
Yes,
which is what she does.
You got it.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah. And I'm so proud. I just want to say I'm so proud of Barbara because she, like she said, she was a speaker and everything. She was doing it when we met, but she has just lifted, just like skyrocketed now. Having been on this show, having her own show with the Friend Bar with Friends, and then, with the show that you have with Pat, and then now you have a new co-host, and you're just
new co-host, Jason.
Wow.
So she's, I always look at Barbara and say, you inspired me. Oh my God, I love you so much. That's awesome.
She's on fire.
She is.
And I come back and sing her every once in a while with, okay, Barb, what are you doing? And she does it to me too. And because and that's the thing. We all have our strengths.
Yeah.
We all have our strengths. And when we can all work together, I always think of it as the power of a mastermind. Because one of my favorite sayings, and I think, Barb's heard me say this so many times, you don't know what you don't know. Right. And you can't know what you don't know without somebody telling you what you don't know.
Exactly. And
so I truly believe that the most detrimental words in the English, in any language, is, I know that.
Ooh. Yeah,
Those
boy.
are the most detrimental words ever.
Yeah, that'll come back to bite you.
Oh, yes. Sure, you can say
Yep.
that again because that, I mean, I'm just being, I'm truthful. I'm always open to the audience. And I have done that. I've had people, heard people say that. I'm like, ugh, you shouldn't say that. Then I heard myself say it. And I was like, no, Barbara, what are you doing? Yeah. I mean, when
Yeah.
you always limit yourself when you say, well, I know that, or, yeah, I know that. You
Hmm.
don't have to tell me that. I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
don't say that. Because you
Hmm.
can always get
Right.
some time of wisdom or some kind of droplets of
Right.
golden nuggets from people. I always tell
Hmm.
people that.
Well, I call it lifelong
Yeah.
learning. And I
Right.
mean, the two of you are perfect examples of that, is that you never stop. There's always
Right.
something more to learn. Even when you learn like a certain subject or a certain topic or a certain skill, it's like, well, isn't that interesting? Let me see how much further I can go. Let me see where this can
Right.
take me. And when you have that sense of interest and curiosity and wanting to learn, you can branch out in so many different directions and learn so much more than you ever thought possible. And that,
Hmm.
I think, is not only the key to happiness and success, it's also the key to longevity and health and vitality, because you're always
Right.
keeping yourself interested, curious, learning. It's just,
Mhm.
it's life affirming.
Right. It's life
Yeah.
affirming. I mean, it says like my
Mm-hmm.
dad, he lived to be almost 102. And that was one of the things that he said. He tried to learn something new every day. One little thing
Mm-hmm.
from somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't, and I think one of the things that was his strong suit was he didn't care how old they were. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
can learn things from a 3-year-old.
Yes, you can.
Yes, yes, you can.
You know, out of the mouths of babes.
Babes.
Absolutely.
And once in a while, they will just come up with, like my grandchildren, we all live together. And every once in a while, even the 10-year-old, it's like, oh, right. Yeah, she's right. Because
Mm-hmm.
they see things not naively, but such in a fresh way because they're just learning it themselves. And when they hear something at school and they come home and say, oh, really? Yeah. And it's so true. And so often adults, they'll brush
Mm-hmm.
off the kids. They'll brush off the kids. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No.
You can
Well,
Because
always learn from somebody.
and I
mhm.
think one of the greatest things that they can teach us is just joy,
Right.
inexpressible, just joyfulness. If you're in a bad mood and you hear a toddler giggling, what do you
Hmm.
do? I mean, you just laugh along with them. I mean, they find so much joy and happiness in so many little things that it's like we need to go back to that ourselves.
And
Right.
I was
And
gonna
I
just
think
I
one of the
love you
biggest,
said that. Oh, sorry, Barbara. No, I was gonna
nope,
say I'm
go.
glad you said that, Cheryl, about, hearing a child laugh and just having fun and just being free hearted. You're just free
Hmm.
going. They don't think about what's gonna happen. They just like, I'm just gonna do this, I wanna try it. Like when we get as
Hmm.
adults, we start to, put those little boundaries up and saying, oh, I don't know about that. But with children, they're just open to just experiencing life. And
Hmm.
even when they cry, it's still kind of a joy because you're automatically want to run to them and say, no, it's going to be okay. Let me hug you, let me caress you, with the children. But makes you show that love that maybe
Hmm.
you haven't been doing in a while. And the child
Hmm.
will remind you, okay, I need love. I need
Hmm.
love. And when you think of that
Hmm.
child needing love, others, adults like us, we need love too. So they
Hmm.
show us that
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
And I
It's
think
just that they go ahead.
no, I think one of the things too is kids, they don't care what anybody else
You're
thinks.
right.
The other day, there was a little girl. I was down at my local restaurant, and this little girl came in, and she was dressed up as a princess. And
Mm.
she was just because it was her birthday, and she just,
Ooh.
I mean, and so we forget. People don't care what like just get over yourself.
Hmm.
People don't notice. If you want to wear something like with me now, I wear my fancy earrings. I don't
Hmm.
care if I have jeans on. I wear my
Hmm.
fancy earrings.
And that's one thing that we can learn about children is they do what feels
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
and what maybe another little girl wouldn't want to wear a dress like that other one because it's a little tight or it itches or something like that. Do what feels good. Do what's right for you. And that's another thing as adults that we kind of get weaned out of us. I think I think it kind of happens when we start school. Because prior to that, we're just, in our own homes, we're learning. And that's going back to the movement, Barbara, we were talking about earlier. That's how children learn to move, is through their own exploration and curiosity. No one tells them, this is how you sit up, this is how you roll over in the crib. We did it as children, just exploring our environment and exploring movement. And every time we did something, we hit another milestone, everybody's applauding. Oh my gosh, you're wonderful. You're wonderful. That's just fantastic. And then by the time we are completely upright, functional, mobile, and ambulatory, then it's like, okay, sit down, shut up. Now you're going to learn because you're in school. And then all of these boundaries come and, we get to go outside and play during recess, but it's structured. And now people are kind of telling us what to do and how to play. And then we get into organized sports or dance or gymnastics or something like that. And then there's a coach or a teacher telling us how to move, what to do, when it's good, when it's bad, when it's right, when it's wrong. And we never had that when we were trying to learn on our own. And then all of a sudden, as we're getting older and older, we forget how to move. We forget how to play. And play is how we learn.
Oh, totally. Yeah. We forget how to play.
Yeah.
And that play is essential. You must play.
Mm-hmm.
We don't take time to play, and and yesterday I was talking to one of the gals, to one of my girls, and I was saying, she was talking about, I can't remember how this conversation started. I said, women, we don't celebrate. We don't celebrate our success.
No.
We beat ourselves up for the things that we do wrong, but we don't celebrate the things that we do right.
Right.
And she was like, oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know that you could just see it, that she was beating herself up about something. It's like, yeah, but what have you done that was right? Did you make your bed this morning?
Thank you. Did you wake up?
Yeah. Did you get out of bed this morning?
Did you get out of bed this morning? Mm-hmm. Did you brush your teeth? Did you wash your face? Did you do something with your hair? Mm-hmm. Those are all things that, hey, yeah. And if that's all you did, fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fine.
Exactly. You have to celebrate every tiny little thing. I was telling somebody just the other day, I was at the grocery store and I was buying some like birthday cards and stuff and everything. And I'm looking around and I just happened to see this one card, and it was a little kind of like a cartoon picture of a mountain and a little cartoon stick figure climbing the mountain. And he's just almost at the top. And the card was, congratulations, you made it. And I bought that card for myself.
And you know what? I like that. Good for you, Cheryl. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's like you need to be reminded, because it's like, I'm not where I'm at, or, I have all these things that I want to do. I haven't accomplished yet. And sometimes you just need to step back and look in the rear view mirror and go, wow, I did all that.
Where have I been? Yes.
Yeah. And and as a podcast host myself, I talk to a lot of people, and I am always so amazed. Everybody has such fascinating stories. But when I'll say, oh my gosh, that's just so amazing, that's so interesting, will you be on my show and talk about it? And it's like, well, it's no big deal. And it's like, yes, it is a big deal, but we forget, because we've lived it. We've lived the experiences, and we've come through on the other side, and we just don't realize our unique qualities and the things that we have accomplished in our lives. So everybody who's listening today, just give yourself a pat on the back, buy yourself a congratulation card. Congratulations to the two Barbaras on their anniversary. Just the little things make such a big difference.
Right. Cheryl, we have had some really fun guests on, and very interesting guests. What can you share with us one story that just was really, that you can remember in the last whatever, because people will say things on a radio show that,
oh boy. Wow. That's quite a question, because I have just recorded, I think, episode 140. But I
Yeah.
have to tell. Thank you. Yeah, it's, as you
That,
know, doing a show
yeah.
is a lot of work, and it's a lot of stress, and sometimes things
And,
happen that you
and
don't
the name of your
expect.
show, talk about
The
the name
name
of your show.
the name of my show is the Ninja Project.
Mm.
So it's loosely based on my experience as a martial artist. You can probably see the swords and the weapons behind me. Yes, those are mine. Those are my toys. And I actually am a second-degree black belt in an ancient Japanese martial art called Nimpo Taijutsu, the art of the ninja. It's, a very classic, kind of elite kind of martial art. And I started my training at the tender young age of 47, and I did not go willingly. I basically had to be dragged on the mat, kicking and screaming, and not in a good way, by my teacher. My teacher was actually my acupuncturist before he became my sensei. And the very first time he stuck needles in my legs, he got a very faraway look on his face. And he said, with your legs and my coaching, I could teach you how to kill with these things. And I thought, okay, who thinks like that, let alone says it out loud? And there I am, literally pinned to the table. I couldn't move. And I was like, oh my God, this man is a crazy person. And I just said, no, thanks. No, not going to do it. Make a long story short, after 3 years of just, he wore me down. And I said, okay, I will take a few classes just to prove to you how much I'm going to hate it. And then I'm going to quit. And 10 years later, I became his first female black belt.
Wow. Awesome.
So, in 20 years of teaching, he never had a woman get that high of a rank. And still to this day, that was 7 years ago, he's only had one other woman who became a black belt. That's the kind of art that I trained in. But anyway, so many things that you learn through a process like that, of the lifelong learning, overcoming obstacles, finding your spirit, finding ways to kind of like shift through different problems. So all of the skills that I learned as a martial artist can be applied to every single aspect of life, but a lot of, especially for women, but most women don't want to spend 17 years in a smelly, sweaty dojo the way I did, and get beat up by a bunch of men. And I understand that. So that's why, I like to bring guests on my show who have really interesting experiences, about overcoming obstacles, restoring human dignity, standing your ground, finding your voice, living well, looking good, alternative health. All of these things really are based on the art of the ninja. So, that's how the Ninja came to life. But I have talked to so many amazing people who have the most incredible stories. But I have to tell you, probably the funniest thing that happened recently, I think I laughed so hard I snorted. And the episode hasn't aired yet, and it will be coming up. The title is Put Your Best Face Forward. And I think it'll be coming up soon, maybe in just a few weeks. And the woman I was interviewing her name is Jade Alexander. And she has become a friend of mine, of course, but I met her through a professional networking group, and she's a photographer and a videographer. And she does amazing work with videography. And she is actually even doing an online program training people how to look good on camera, and, with lighting and stuff.
We'll have to have her on the show.
She's wonderful. She is such an amazing, amazing guest, wonderful person. And if she sees this video, she's going to have a heart attack, because I forgot a major component in my lighting this morning, because it's still a little bit early here and the coffee hadn't kicked in. And she's going to be thinking, oh my gosh, what have you done? But hey, this is me. This is, I'm real. I'm authentic. Anyhow, she was talking about some of her experiences in college and starting ice skating, like figure skating, in college. And she actually got on a figure skating team, the college team, even though, she had just started. And then talking about how the girls were coaching her and helping her so she could be part of this team. And she has some of the funniest stories, not only about training and performing, on the ice as, 18, 19 years old, never having done any ice skating
And not been on
before.
skates. Wow.
Well, yeah, and then performing. So some of her stories were just so funny. And then she also tells a story about a raccoon that kind of stalked her during her college days. And it was like the very first time, because she had to go onto the ice. The ice time was really early. And the first time, and she's a city girl, she walks out to her car so she can get to the ice skating rink. And there's this huge raccoon standing in front of her car right by the door and just, like making noises and stuff at her. It turned out pretty well. She and the raccoon made peace with each other. And there is kind of like a punchline to the story, but she was hilarious. And another woman, oh gosh, she's really funny. She'll be airing in a couple of weeks too. The Secret Sauce, or the True Secret Sauce of Success. And she and I bonded immediately because she's an animal lover, a dogaholic. She's, has worked with rescue groups, which I have too. She has pit bulls. I don't, but I have a friend who has 2 pit bulls, and they're great big baby dolls. They're such lovers. And, she was telling about how much she loves animals until she has these, I think she has 6 dogs, 3 cats. And then she blew it when she started talking about her python.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, ooh, I don't do snakes, ooh. And so that was a really fun interview and a lot of fun. And she'd be another great person for you to get on the show. Stephanie Powell is her name.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'll give you her contact information.
Yeah, send me an invite.
I will. She's so funny, and she's a business coach, and her tagline is, "You've got the Powell." Instead of like, "You've got the power," you've got the Powell, because that's her last name. And she'll talk about her snake, give you some information about. They named him Monty, as in Monty Python.
Monty Python. Yeah, Monty Python.
So, when you do something like this, you meet so many people and you hear so many wonderful stories, and some of them are heartbreaking, but they usually have a really good ending. And so it's just that inspiration and that motivation to be able to, you can recover from anything.
Yeah, because we all have a journey.
We do. And we all have our history, and we've all had our bumps in the road. And, like I always like to say, because of the martial arts, life is full of hits. And learning how to either evade them or recover from them or minimize them or just move through them with that flexibility really makes a difference in the course of the rest of our lives.
Right.
Wow. I love that now. Ooh, that was good.
Ooh, thank you.
Full of hits. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And absolutely the truth. So, wow.
Yeah. So, before, because I know with time and everything, Cheryl, I know you're also an author. So,
yes, I am.
Yeah, let everybody, listeners, know about, what you've written recently or what's out there.
Okay, so you might see the book in my background. It's Forever Fit and Flexible, Feeling Fabulous at 50 and Beyond. And so it's based on all of the things that we were talking about with movement, healthy movement, mindset, not beating yourself up, and what fitness means to me might be something for somebody else. But my personal philosophy is fitness is not about a size or a number. It's not about how you look. It's about how you feel and how you feel about yourself, and being able to move and to move through life. It's, again, going through those obstacles and being able to come out of it with your health and vitality still intact. And it's really based on my personal experience as a professional experience as a physical therapist, and my personal experience as being a chronic pain patient when I was in my mid-30s. So for 2.5 years, I was basically a chronic pain patient. I wasn't a physical therapist. I didn't know what was going on in my body. And the medical profession, in their attempt to help me, actually kept me in that cycle of pain. And I did everything I was told to do with the PT, took all the medications, did all the stupid stretching and exercises, which didn't help, went to the massage therapist. Instead of getting better, I got worse. And so when I was finally told that I would have to go on disability, never have the life that, I thought I was going to have, I was 36 and I hit rock bottom, and I'm like, no, this is not the life for me. I'm going to figure this out on my own. So I fired all of my caregivers and went back to how we did learn how to move when we were children. So long story, it was a long process, and I added acupuncture. I love acupuncture. It's the bomb. I'm actually, one of my dogs is receiving it right now. So that's what that book is about. And it's about finding your own way. So I even have a little program in there, which is what the Vitality Zone that my online program is based on too. And my next book, I'm actually in the developmental editing process. And the title of that book is The Reluctant Ninja: How a Middle-Aged Princess Became a Warrior Queen.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So that one should be out this fall. We're going great guns on it. It's my story and my memoir basically, and it's full of really funny stories, hilarious stories, sad stories, heartbreaking stories where I've been completely beaten down, and that warrior spirit comes back up. So basically, I truly believe that we are warriors, all of us. Each and every one of us have that kind of power and strength inside of us. Sometimes we just need some help getting it out and finding it. But, so it's, I hope that when people read this, they will be inspired to find their own warrior spirit. And I do have a follow-up book after that I'm already putting together that's going to be Secrets of a Warrior Queen, to help people, once again, especially women, learn those life's lessons so they don't have to spend 17 years in a dojo like I did, get beaten up by a bunch of men. Worked out for me, but not all women want to do that, and I totally get it.
Oh my God, there's awesome books coming out. Thank you so much, Cheryl. Yes. So I tell everybody, go. Read Cheryl. I put it in big bold down there. I don't want people making excuses saying, "Well, I didn't get her information. Where is it?" I don't want to hear that. It's right down there, and you can see the replay. So thank you, Cheryl, so much for coming on the show. Barbara, did you have any last words before we sign off this morning?
No, today has just been such a fun day, and and it's our anniversary month, and I can't believe that it was I was totally off. But you know what? Thank goodness for Facebook, and we're gonna have to to see that first graphic that you did, and it was it just made my heart sing. That wow.
Yeah.
Because that very first show, we didn't know. We just kind of winged it and just did it and said, okay, what are we going to do? And now it's been a year. And it's been an eventful year.
Milestone.
And so many good things have happened. And so I think want everybody to, if they are having a hard time right now, see something, choose to see something that really is good in your life, because there is something. And one of the things I have to, and I'm going to tell on myself a little bit, I have been wanting to start a gratitude journal, and it just to do it first thing in the morning was just not something that I did well in the morning. Now I do my gratitude journal at night before I go to bed, and it's little things that I was grateful for during the day. And what a difference. Last night I sat down and it was oh yeah, this, oh yeah, this. And all of a sudden I had 5 or 6 things on my gratitude list.
Kind of like that.
And
like that. Yeah. When you do it at night, it's you can think about, the whole day, what's been going on. You say, you know what, I'm grateful for this, this, and this.
Right. Even though a couple of things yesterday weren't quite so, there was more things. So then when I looked at the day, instead of focusing on the few things that were I focused on the things that were, oh wow, gratitude, because we forget. Look at the things that have gone wrong, and we don't think about the things that have gone right. We've already had, we don't celebrate the things that we've gone right.
Barbara, can I ask you, do you feel like you sleep better when you do that?
Yes.
I figured.
Because it was just oh, and now doing it at night. And I got that as a tip from somebody else and had been just, like, and then I went, you know what, I'm going to start a gratitude. And doing it at night. In the morning, I was struggling, and I would do it for a couple of days, and it was a chore. At night, before I go to bed, and I was like, oh, and it was just all the things that I was grateful for that day. And they were little things that a friend of mine bought me lunch unexpectedly. And I was like, and totally out of the blue, and not something that she would normally ever do. But she said, oh, Barb, yeah. And I was like, oh, thank you.
Well, what a beautiful way to end the day and negate some of the things that happened that might not have been so pleasant. Yeah. And so just kind of that just kind of wipes it out. And you end the day on a high note.
Yeah.
And the day on a high note.
I'm going to start that. Thanks, Barb, for bringing that up for everybody. I really think I'm going to start that. I like that idea. I really do. Yeah.
It just, we've talked, this whole show has been about find the thing that floats your boat. Not everybody does things the same way.
Right.
What floats your boat? And I learned it from somebody else.
And see, that goes back to really, that's why the power of collaboration, the power of getting together, especially of as women, because that's my heart, is we get together and we learn and grow, and we keep that open mind and those ears. I always tell people, keep that ears on, because you never know the little droplets of wisdom that can help you move forward for you to elevate you. And we miss out so much when we, like you said, when we just put those boundaries or get closed-minded on certain things. So
So when we say, I know that.
Well, I know that. I was like, okay.
I know that.
When I hear that from people, be like, oh, well, they just missed the boat.
They just missed the boat. The boat sailed without them,
Exactly. And then it sank.
and then it sank. And then they came, and then so often people say, like, what happened? What happened? Well, unless you keep filling your spirit, your spirit dies.
Oh,
your spirit dies.
Yeah. So let's save some lives here. So, okay, Cheryl, thank you for basically coming on the show. See, now I have another new friend. I always meet the new friends through Barbara. So thank you, Barbara, for bringing Cheryl on, and thank you, Cheryl, for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You ladies are a lot of fun, and you're doing some incredible work.
Thank you so much.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you for celebrating our anniversary with us.
Yeah, I wished I'd have known that. I would have brought a cake or at least some balloons or something had I known.
We got a little diamonds around us.
This morning, thank you to Facebook. I'm going to have to post it out on Facebook.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm going to send it out.
That's so sweet.
I miss you.
Yeah.
Totally.
We're going to have you back, Cheryl. We're going to have you back.
Well, thank you. I would love to come back. And Barbara, I would. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Barbara, I would love to have you on my show. And Barbara, I would love to have you back. I know we talked about that before, but I would love to have you both, how fun. Yeah. How fun.
We can exchange shows, because I would love to have you on my TV streaming show. So we'll all have to connect and get that going. Yeah.
And, and that's what it's all about. It's because then it's exposure for all of us.
Yes.
And exposure has nothing to do with, it has to do with business, but for me, exposure is getting your words out that you can live a happy, healthy, financially free, abundant life. And all of those things go into having a fun life. And it's about that servant heart that we all deserve to have a good life. And we just need help to do it. We just need help. And so that's getting the word out, that because the things that we talked about today, if even one person, and we have people that listen in China to this show.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. We're global.
We're global.
Who knew? That's amazing. Who knew? A year ago.
Today.
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 Hilarious.
June 8th.
It's so thankful. I mean, right there, just puts a smile on my face to be thankful. Like you said, having gratitude for that alone, and for doing it with Barbara. So that's just icing on the cake. That's the heart. I love that. Just doing it with Barbara, because like I said, it would never been done. Because I kept telling Barbara, do it yourself. You can do it. I want you to do it yourself. It's your show.
Yes.
And she kept saying,
and I'm like, no. No.
And I'm glad she pushed. I'm glad she's seen and see some people see things ahead before you do, of how things are going to be so elevated. So
and look at the things that you've done in this year since you've been doing this show.
Yeah, sometimes I still surprise myself and had to pinch and be like, did I just do that? Like Urkel, did I do that? Where did that come from? But yeah, it surprises you. Sometimes you surprise yourself on some of the things that you do. Yeah, you really do. But it's all for, helping others. And that's what I look at it. We're all helping each other.
Yeah, it's the servant heart. Have a servant heart.
A servant heart. Servant heart.
Yeah. Because, I'll end with this. Zig Ziglar says, you will get everything that you want if people get what they want.
Ooh, yeah.
That's good.
Zig Ziglar.
That's good. I like that. See, Barbara, you do that every time.
Exactly.
You do that every time. You end up with this powerful wisdom, and then we're all like, oh, thank you. Which is so nice.
Awesome.
Okay, so we will see everybody next Tuesday. And I know we're going to have another awesome guest, because Barbara always makes sure we have that. And thank you, Shirley, again for coming on. Like I said, we were going to reach out to you again so you can come on the show. We would love to have you. You're kind of like our family now.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And you know what, Barb?
What?
Send Cheryl and invite her to our panel.
Oh, yeah.
We do a panel once a month.
Make it the first Thursday every month.
First Thursday of the month.
Okay.
At 8 Central Time. We'll send you info.
Remind me.
8 Central Time. Yay.
Uh-oh.
What time is that for you?
What's her time zone?
8 p.m.
No. I'm in. Oh, it's 8 p.m. Okay, so
8 p.m.
Okay, yeah. Okay, good to know. Yeah, I'm in Denver, so I'm on Mountain Time.
Oh, so you're okay.
So I'm an hour behind you guys, so I'm earlier. So so the show started at 9:00 today, so it was 8:00 for me. So
okay. So our first Thursday
is 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Okay. So that'd be 7 p.m. your time.
Okay. And just so you know, I can do 7 in the morning. I'm an early person. I mean, I was up this morning at 5:30, but getting myself put together is a different story. So
the panel is at night, so we'll send you info on it.
Okay,
perfect.
Great.
Cheryl, this was a blast. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, ladies. I had so much fun, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
So proud of you.